Hey everybody, Andy with Addictive Archery. I'm back. We're going to do an update to the video series that I did on how to make wood arrows. I want to start off though by kind of explaining why there's been such a big gap. The last episode to that series aired or uploaded in February of 2018. I basically spent the rest of that year working on the business and working here on the farm and on my other full-time job. So I gotta tell you, I'm not a full-time YouTuber, and quite honestly, I didn't realize what having a YouTube channel meant when I started that series. I figured it was just gonna be a handful of my friends watching it, and hopefully that would kind of help show some of the details and intricacies of making wood arrows. I've been pleasantly surprised by the following. A lot of you have reached out either through YouTube or through email asking me questions, further questions, and even better, showing me some of the arrows that you've made using the series as a guide. That is awesome. I like seeing those pictures, and I encourage you, if you are doing this, send them to me. I love looking at arrows and answering questions, and really, I learn just as much from my viewers as you guys may from this video series. So I really appreciate that. So in 2018, I talked about a couple products, and this video series is going to be an update to that because some of those have changed. So I'm going to start out with the sealer. In that series, I talked about Daly's Profin. It is still one of the best arrow finishes out there. The problem is that the company is based out of Seattle, so unless you're in the Pacific Northwest, it's difficult to get. You can get it on Amazon, but it costs quite a bit to ship it because it is oil-based and flammable, so they can't air ship it. You have to pay for it through the ground, and it's kind of expensive. The other drawback to it is once you crack the lid, the clock starts. It doesn't have a long shelf life. It's not like you can open it up, pour it in your tube, do a couple dozen arrows, and then have it ready for next year. It goes bad really quick. Even myself, with the hundreds of arrows that I'm doing a month, I get about 3/4 to 7/8 of the can finished before it'll go bad, and I got to start another one. So we needed something different for the average homeowner or home arrow maker that's going to build maybe 2 to 3 dozen a year for himself or maybe a couple friends. We found it. The other issue is that I also talked about Bonines Acrylac. This stuff is bomb-proof. For a crown dip, it was awesome. They changed the formula, renamed it. I don't know why, but the new stuff just left a lot to be desired. I showed what that was in the last video series. It's called Crestlac. I didn't like working with it. So fortunately, in 2018, I went to the Compton Rendezvous. If you've never been, you ought to try it. It's in Berrien Springs, Michigan, every Father's Day weekend. I am now on the board of directors for Compton's, and I help organize all the vendors. So one of the vendors there, his name's Joe Callahan. He owns True North Arrows. That's when I had known about his line a little bit before, but I never really gave it a try. It wasn't something that any of my mentors here in Oregon were using at the time, and I never gave it a good shake. I'd seen it. I think I had played with some of the cresting paints, but again, I just never really took an in-depth look at the product. So when I was there, I got to sit and talk to Joe for a while. We talked arrows, we talked techniques. I was looking at some of his products as he had finished arrows there. They looked really nice. I figured, okay, I gotta try it. So I got some in. I've been using this ever since the summer of 2018. All the arrows that you see on my Instagram and that I've been making have been made with True North using the crown dip, the sealer, the stains, and the cresting paints. So this video series is going to be an update to my last one using these products. So we're going to go through step by step, and I'll show you some of the tips and tricks that I've discovered using this stuff. And this will be a good alternative for the folks that are making You know, honestly, even if you're a production, if you're another archery shop making a ton of wood arrows, you got to consider this stuff. It's great. It's water-based, non-toxic. It doesn't smell. And so as you saw in the last series, I have 2 kids. They like coming in the archery shop and they'll help me out. I'm not afraid of them coming in contact, maybe getting a little bit on their hands and stuff. It washes off with soap and water. Through the series, we'll build another couple sets of arrows. We'll use all these products, and I'll show you some of the techniques that I use. Now, all right, so we're going to start off by building some 6570 arrows for stock here in the shop. We're going to make them with some Sherwood shafts, premium. These are my go-to for Doug fir. I'm going to go get these tapered up, and we'll start with the next step. I've knock tapered them, tail tapered them, and tip tapered them. The next step after that is I clean sanded. In addition, I also went through, sighted down the shaft, and hand straightened every one. Very minimal, if any, that I had to do. Take notes. Every dozen arrows that comes out of this shop has a build sheet. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll notice that on the bottom right-hand corner of every picture of arrows, there's a number. It's the year and the number of dozen that I made on there so that I can refer back to this build sheet. So if you happen to purchase some arrows from me, you can, years down the road, call me back up, tell me that you got that dozen, and I can duplicate it off this build sheet. Even all the way down to hitting the weight. I will write down the raw weight, and I know exactly what steps I've done through these notes so I can hit it the next time. So I highly recommend that you start a notebook and then just start keeping notes. It will pay off years down the road when you're trying to remember how to duplicate your favorite set of arrows. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to number them 1 through 12, and I will weigh them all out, write them on that sheet so I know what each shaft is, and I can keep an eye on the shaft throughout the course of the build to make sure I don't have one building up quicker than the other for some reason. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a line at 9 inches. That's usually where I transition from the body of the arrow to the back of the crown. Now you can change that length to whatever you prefer. I just like the 9-inch mark. For me, it seems like most of my customers are happy with that. It gives me enough room to put a nice cresting design and not get up into the feather band unless that's the desired look. So let's do that now. So I'll always start out by putting what the raw weight of the arrow shafts are. I'm going to take these arrows, I'm going to number them 1 through 12. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking each one of these arrows and weighing them individually and recording their weight down on the sheet. Now I'm using a jig that I made to make a mark where I want to break the body stain from the crown dip. And as stated earlier, I put that at 9 inches from the knock end of the arrow. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this first episode. It's kind of a review. We covered a lot of stuff, introduced a new product line. I was going to go into the next step, but I kind of want to keep these videos about 10 to 15 minutes long max. That way everyone can use them as kind of a refresher as you're starting to build your arrows and you don't have to search through a long episode to see the part that you want. So the next episode will be over stains. You can see I've started filming it here. But that should come out here in another week or two. Please, if you need to see something, want to see something, even if it doesn't have to do with arrows, put them in the comments below. I'll put it on the list. I'm not promising that I'm going to be putting out videos every week or even every other week. I just got too much stuff going on, but I'll do my best to keep on them and interact with you all on either the comments or through email. So again, thanks for watching. I appreciate all the support. Have a great day.